What's good, YouTube, and welcome back. We have another deck profile from the Oceanics Championships. We are here with top 8 placer Isaac Lim. Hello, Isaac. Beautiful prizes, of course. Great trophy. Yeah, so take it away however you like.
Right, so I played Punk Tier for the weekend, as I figured it was probably the best choice for the tier variant. I didn't really want to keep myself to playing 8 rounds of Summon Frogs all day. I really like the playstyle, like the combo variants of Tier, and it kind of has like no kind of ceiling to how you build the deck, whereas Sprite has a very, very low ceiling.
Yep.
So I guess with the cards, so triple Rhino Heart, triple Halfness, triple Meru, and triple Shaylin. So pretty kind of regular tier lineup here, nothing out of the ordinary. I wouldn't really change anything further. Only thing maybe reducing the Meru count, if anything at all. But you want to mill these, you want to draw them sometimes, you want to be able to pitch them with the Punk cards because Foxy Tune sends for effect. So they're never really that bad to actually draw. So you're very content with drawing any of these really. And the Punk cards work really well with them. So we probably never change this ratio. Siding once, I took a 1 Meru out in one game just because there are better cards to have, and it is arguably the worst one.
Yep.
But it still is quite a fundamental combo piece in the deck. For the Punk engine, we played double Xiamen, we played double Foxy Tune, 1 Ogre Dance, and 1 Deer Note. So the Punk engine ratio is something that is, I guess, a bit divided among people's choices and what they want to play. Some people argue that you play like 2 of this, 1 and no Ogre, and like 1 Deer Note, or 2 Deer Note, or whatever really ratio.
Yeah, all 3, yep.
Yeah, so I decided to play this and triple E-Telly essentially, I guess mandatory really. So this brings, I think, to a 9 count total. So it's pretty similar to the ratio of like tier danger, the dangers they play, where it's like you kind of want to draw them and such. I guess the Plague Spreader combos into the entire tier package, or the Punk package, because it's the tune you get off of Hulk. So Xiamen searches you this gets you Deer Note, you make a Chaos Rally, mill 5, and milling cards in tier. It's pretty good. And you have so many 1-card combos. The reason I picked the Punk engine over the Danger engine is simply because of how consistent it is. You can draw this in its full combo, you can draw this in its full combo, you draw this in its full combo. Whereas with Danger, you're relying on your Dangers to be not hit out of the hand, you're relying on them, I guess, milling your tier cards. There's so much variance in the deck, and you're adding an extra layer of variance to a variance-heavy deck already.
Yep.
You're basically asking to lose to RNG and Swiss.
Yep.
And that's not really the right deck building methodology I wanted to apply to the deck. Maybe for locals it's good, for sure. But over the course of like a 12 round, like an 8 round tournament, I don't think I'd be wanting to locking myself into high rolling all day and praying. Yep. Even like drawing this can be full combo if you draw this. Because this gets you this gets you this, then you reveal this in another Punk. It's still full combo majority of the time. Even if you go this with a tier, and then you fusion summon using a tier, you can tribute summon over after you go like Halfness Kit into Meru, summon mill 8, and then you can tribute summon over the Meru, Chaos Rule, and still play really
just nice, simple, clean, easy lines.
Exactly, yeah. So there's never really a bad card to draw out of this combo here as well. This used to be Falco, the Plague Spreader, because it used to give you Winder access, and we all know how oppressive Winder is in this format. But it came out last minute because it is arguably one of the worst bricks to draw in the deck outside of Deer Note, whereas Plague Spreader, it can actually give you some very niche opportunities to stack tiers on top of your deck, so your houses will always hit. You will always hit off the Meru. It's a level 2 that brings itself back, similar to the Shinobi Necro argument, because I also played Gigantic Sprite in the deck. So this can make this pretty easily as well, which lets you get Meru from the deck, which lets you go Gigantic, Elf. So this was probably the best level 2 tuner choice we could have played outside of Shinobi Necro, but Shinobi Necro requires you to be playing Snow. And I did not play Snow in this deck because I don't play Curious. Because no dangers. So the rest of the monsters, I played double Alpha and P.U.N.K.
Okay.
So with the rise of Super Poly and people playing around Super Poly, Alpha's value increases tenfold alongside P.U.N.K. I was initially just playing triple P.U.N.K or triple alpha, but we last moment decided to cut one of these for the P.U.N.K because it's a bit more universal and it's just kind of better than alpha in most situations.
No more dupe frogs.
No more dupe frogs being summoned into tier boards where it's like they have a Dragastapalia with like a Curious and like a Snow. It's fine. It trade 1 for 1 usually, or it forces the Snow out, or you can just summon it and immediately force a Dragastapalia. You can go battle phase, which then forces out. It just trades really well into like every single deck this format essentially, and it's just like I probably would continue playing. I'd probably maybe in the future if I play the event again, maybe play 3 alpha in the main deck and also a P.U.N.K. and just kind of increase the count because you really want to see that card going second or more of your going second cards. And I also played triple DD Crow in the main deck. So no one was really playing around hand traps at all.
Yep.
Everyone is on board breakers, including myself because I'm playing alpha and such. But it allows this card to really shine. You can add it back to your hand off of the Chaos Ruler, so it adds like an extra layer of interaction where you don't really ever... There can be fringe cases where you mill tiers and you don't want to add them to your hand, and you'd rather add a DD Crow to get to fuse. You can also fuse with it, so it's never really that bad to mill, because it makes Mud Dragon, so it's perfectly fine. It has really high impact against rogue decks that were good this format, such as Mathmech. That was like the one that was like the one deck that I think is really hard to hand trap optimally, and this card just removes the entire interaction stage. If you just DD Crow the Diameter in graveyard, when they try and Super Factorial, they just summon Albert and search a card, and you get to play freely. It's really good into Splight. Obviously, you banish Rodent Totems, you force out, like if they have Griffin, you just banish the Rodent Totem, you force the Griffin out early. It's not bad into Adventure. If they go Swap Frog, pitch Enchantress, you can DD Crow the Enchantress if you want to do that.
Yep.
Tier obviously hits every single one of the tier cards. Fringe cases again where they go Curious Mill Griffin, you can DD Crow the Griffin card if they want it that badly at least, and it's perfectly fine. But it's basically universally good this format, and I don't think I would definitely play this card again in the future for sure in the same deck if I was playing again. Spells, triple Field Spell of course, no reason not to. Triple Dark Ruler. I think it's kind of unfortunately a mandatory card this format, where it's kind of like everyone's boards are quite... If you basically Dark Ruler a board, it's free.
Yep.
That's basically the best way to put it around it. It's like the only interaction they'll have is either if they starter for a card and then have like another carrot or a red, or if they have smashes, for example, that'd be the only interaction to play through, and that's just so easy. And it's just like, okay, you have 2 insane engines that just play into them really easily, and it's whatever. I played double Talents as well. This was initially at 3 for a while. I played a tournament last weekend, and this card, because everyone's on board breakers, you never want to have it going first. It's good going first and second, but majority of the time you're not getting hand trapped. It becomes a dead card in your hand. So if you only have it when you're going second, you have 6 cards in your hand, you have a higher chance of drawing a 2 of than a 3 of, but you have a lower chance of drawing a 3 of, obviously.
Yep.
Well, a higher chance of drawing a 3 of going first, but less so a 2 of. So it's really insane going second into most decks because it just either forces an Omni Negate, or it draws 2 cards to extend, or it takes like a crucial key card, like in my final feature match that I lost unfortunately to. If he didn't have a skill drain set, I just take his Golden Lord, and his set card was like a Querer and a Omni Negate. If I just battle phase, I did also forgot that his Golden Lord was boosted by itself. I just punch over his Griffin, and if his last card wasn't skill drain, I just full combo him with P.U.N.K. But going first, obviously, it's just like he has no hand traps in his deck, so it's just dead. So you only really want this card going second, and it's fine to have 2 of it if you're only going second, really. If I play 1 instant fusion, so let's get careless. Called by, it's a blowout Saki card. There was one game today, well, not today, over the course of Swiss, where it's like you just play into your opponent's field and they attempt to Toju, and you go called by. Okay, the entire game is just free. They can't elf it back, or if you just wait for them to try and called by, toad back the elf. You don't have the first nominee to go, you just bait it out. Then you just called by, and it's just 1 Cosmic for a mine out. That's a spell. I did also play as a secondary mine out, High Rate Draw. So this one was not my card, I'm not taking any credit for it. This one was from Nesh that I saw this card initially. And then one of our friends as well, Henry, who I love, beat in top 16, also said he was thinking about this card. And in theory, it was absolutely absurd. And in practice, it was absolutely absurd as well.
Yep.
It was basically so many games. It's just you have it in the graveyard and you get Dark Ruled, for example. Or they just negate your guy and you just go, okay, high rate draw, pop my Kaleido.
Yep.
And you set it, you summon Kaleido back, you get a spinner card, you get the fuse with the deck, or you can like send a Salic, add a fusion, add like a Havness or something. This card overperformed.
Yep.
It either is the absolute nuts or overperformed like crazy.
It just does everything.
Yeah, it's just like the perfect card to have in tier essentially.
Out's mine.
Out's mine.
Beats Dark Ruler.
Beats Dark Ruler.
Yeah.
Once you set it, it's like you can pop your entire field, you can draw 2 cards, and you can trigger Tears Engrave, and then you can go Field Spell Effect to pop mine as well. It has so many different applications, you know, and it's... Yeah, this card overperformed every single time I had it, and many of my opponents lost the game because of this card, so...
Top 16 victory.
Yeah, top 16 won me the game. And then I think, if anything, the only change I would make would be playing 2 of this card.
Ooh.
I think, honestly.
Yeah.
Because the games where it's in the graveyard, I felt like I could never lose the game, really. Every single time it's in the graveyard, I felt like it was an unlosable situation. And then double Salic.
Yep.
I think this got a standard now. I was initially playing 1 Meta Noise, 1 Salic. Meta Noise value kind of drops, I feel like, this format, because with the rise of Danger Tier, it doesn't really care about Meta Noise that much. And that was the only matchup I was really scared of.
Yep.
Because the Splight matchup is like I mentioned, its ceiling is quite low. It can't beat big monsters. It can't really play. If they start with starter, they have to like only Bamaru or smashes your monsters away. That's kind of like, all right, you're using so much resource. Or and with the everyone playing like prosperities and stuff, it's like they limit their future choices to actually beat your monsters. So yeah, this card's just better in the Splight matchup. Really, it went to the tier matchup.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So 40 card deck or
42.
42. Sure.
High rate draw and Cosmic being the 42 card. With 2 extra cards. Otherwise, it would be a very clean 40 if you don't want to respect mine. These cards were basically in the deck to solely respect mine, but this card ended up being insanely high value into every single matchup I played.
Nice.
Throughout the course of Swiss as well, I played 7 rounds against Splight and 1 Danger Tier matchup, which was
wow,
very quick. So that's the main.
Very
deck.
nice.
And then for the extra deck, nothing too crazy. I feel like it was pretty standard. So played Chaos Ruler and Baron for the P.U.N.K combo really. Played for the Link monsters, Dark, Hulk, and Elf. Dark did not come up really that much at all, although I'm sure if I played more Danger Tier, it would 100%. I'm convinced it would.
Absolutely.
Many, like in the feature match again at the finals, Dino versus Bowden, obviously this card like just... It's free, you know, you get someone's back Kit Kat, someone's back Kaleidos. It's just insane. If you are playing like a small Splight package, you can like summon back Jets and Blues and such. So if I think I played more variants decks, this card would have come up a lot more, but it didn't. 1 Hulk, of course. This is just part of the combo. Elf is just absolutely absurd. The fact that someone's back Meru, it gives targeting protection. This is targeting protection. It just makes Imperm and Veiler so awful. Against a Splight player, I think in like round 3 or in like 4 or 5, I think. I have like Baron on the field, and I'm about to go into Elf because I couldn't branch into the Elf before I summoned the Baron, and he like Veiler nibs, but I still play and I still make Dragus Tepele Kaleido set Salic. Because this card just has so much pressure because it turns off Veiler, Imperm. Gigantic. This came up once or twice, I think, where you summon the Meru, and it's also a Zeus line. It also is very big. It's 32. So you can just go for lethal. Kaleido, this, and Shalian is this Kaleido and Meru with the field spell is 8k as well. Zeus came up once, I think. Yeah, it only came up once. It didn't come up too often. But it was into Brave. No, actually, it was 6 rounds of Splight, 1 round of Danger Tier, and 1 Brave VW.
Sure.
So into game 3, I basically make a board of, I make Redoer, I summon a Zeus with Collider and Kit Kat.
Nice.
And it's just like, how do I lose at that point? Because this will trigger all my tiers. So Zeus, I think, is very good with Redoer into some matchups as well, which you play Redoer and Dweller. Dweller is just too good. It's just kind of like the argument of like lingering floodgates, just really unfair.
Yeah.
FTK is the mirror match, unfortunately. It lowers Splight's ceiling even further. You could blind this card first and you're perfectly fine in this format. It's good into Math Mech even, it just kills the Sigma Engrave. This card's absurd, basically, yeah. Extra deck for fusions, I played one, Garura. This didn't come up, I think maybe it came up once, maybe. There are fringe cases where you can use this and Plague Spreader to make Chaos Ruler, draw a card, mill 5, but that never came up. A Mud Dragon, came up almost every single game.
Yep.
The regular kind of combo that you would go is you would end your turn with like a Kaleido popping your Baron popping your Kaleido, which will then Foolish to fusion for this, and then you would use like another level 4 on the field that you've had throughout the turn to make a Dweller. So your end board's like Elf with target protection of the Baron and Kaleido and a Dweller with a Salak set or something, and it's like, damn, how do you lose? One Dragus Tapalia, I tried to get away with it and it was fine. If you are playing the deck properly, you should only really ever be going like, you should be cycling these into this, and then you can use this and another tier to make this, and then you can use this to make this, and you can kind of juggle them kind of infinitely, so you only ever need one if you're resourcing correctly, essentially. And then double kit. Same kind of logic. You can kit for kit, or you can kit for Dragus Tapalia, so you only ever really need one. So you could definitely get away with one if you feel like you need extra room in the extra deck, and one Kaleido Heart, because you can just recur this with this. So that's the extra deck. The side deck is where I think the deck building really fell apart, in my opinion, with my own choices, and like I think some of the card choices, but so this is like the main, I guess, problem with my deck building, at least for today. So I played triple Nib, triple Ghost Reaper. These were insane every single time I had them. Not a single tier player respected this card, and it's just like they full combo. They have like Dragus Tapalia, Dweller, and it's just like, okay, attempt to leave the main phase and just give them a rock token, and the deck just dies. It doesn't respect it. That's why this P.U.N.K engine is also so good, because you can play your entire turn without accessing the tier engine. You can add tier cards from the Chaos Ruler, and it just forces the Baron immediately, and like it just basically plays around Nib extremely well and extremely freely, with little to no investment. So that's why I didn't also like the Danger engine that much. This card into like Sprite and the Mirror Match, it's like you banish Kit Kats or Elves, and it's just like the deck loses so much like grinding potential. Like the deck can't play without Kit Kat, essentially. And it's like you're fusing for Mud Dragons and you're passing, you have no engine anymore. Because if you can fuse with Kit Kats, it's like great. One Galaxy Cyclone. Now this is like the worst part of the deck. Was like this wouldn't change. I think all of this would change. So I played one Galaxy Cyclone, triple Anti-Spell, double Dynamiscus, Unending Nightmare, Reboot, and Evenly. So I lost in top 8 because of Skill Drain. As you can see, I don't really have many outs to Skill Drain going second. It basically relies on me drawing like these to beat it face down. And if I played maybe more Cosmics or something, then I'd be great. But I kind of, in deck building theory, kind of committed to the fact that maybe my deck is just better than theirs. And it has grinding potential to actually beat those cards to begin with if you have Tier Engine. But I didn't have any access to Tier Engine because I just didn't draw it. And it's like, the Field Spell answers like this kind of floodgate, so you can just like Field Spell, you can still play under the Skill Drain technically. You can just pop with the Field Spell, but I didn't draw it. So I kind of went into the kind of, I guess, mindset with the fact that if it gets to a point where I'm losing to Skill Drain, I just take the L. And in game 1 and 3, he had it both games, unfortunately, and I didn't draw my one Cosmic, and then I just died game 1, unfortunately. And he was playing Adventure Brave Eldritch, and the deck's a lot quicker than regular trap decks, because of obviously Adventure and the Branded. I just died. So the only thing I'd maybe change would maybe this would just be triple Evenly. Or more Cosmics and Reboot. Because even then, it's like Evenly never really went in against combo decks, because I'd rather have Nibs or Winter Cherries, because they're just better cards, really. So Evenly never really went in the first place, or I never really wanted it. So I think, yeah, in further consideration for the event, I'd probably just play double Cosmic, 2 more Cosmics, and a Reboot over this card as well. Because High Range Draw Ops is the same as this as well, where it's kind of like just a mine out. So looking back, yeah, this was the worst part. Also, Unending Nightmares, which is the going first card.
Yeah.
This one's insanely good in Logic. I didn't play against any decks that I want this in for, so I can't really comment on how good it is. But in theory, it's really, really good because it's like into like Rivalry goes in decks. They flip it, use pop it. They have any other floodgate, pop it, pop it, pop it.
Mind stall.
Mine, yeah. It's like your field, you have like your field spell, and you have like field barrier. Okay, pop the field barrier, and you chain pop the mine. They flip goes and pop that. Cauldron, pop that. In Logic, it just answers literally every single card, and then they should just be dying essentially if you have this. And then Dynamiscus, in old previous decks that I've tested with here, this card's been absurdly really good. And I wanted more going first cards against trap decks. So like this is what usually went in going first, and then if I had the guide adventure, I put like this in going first essentially, and like this because you mill it, it's fine. But this is just universally really good. So against like random rogue decks, I felt like I didn't have enough cards going first, but that was like I think my mistake when coming to the deck. The deck itself going first is already really oppressive. These are just extras essentially, right? Where they lock you out of the game. And every single time I had this card, I lost. Outside of my top 8 match, but against Ryan here in round 2, I drew this, but I drew bricks.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any tier engine. In another round, I just drew this with like no tier engine or punk engine, and it's like it's just kind of like I guess like confirmation bias. Obviously, it's really unfair. I think you have to play it, but I think I'd rather just more cards that can let me play. Like this is enough to beat a lot of decks. Like you can just banish a card, a face-up card, get a pitch of fusion to tier for cost for effect, and you get the fusion. It's an aqua level 2, makes gigantic, makes elf. It's really good, essentially.
All right, very good. Any final words? Any shout-outs?
Massive shout-outs to everyone I came with. So Ryan, Thompson, Bin, Ben, and Dom. Shout-outs to everyone who helped us in the past. So Long, mainly, I guess, Long. We've had a lot of tier discussion. Harwood as well.
Shout out Grimro.
Yeah, shout out Grimro. Shout out Steven Sui for not being here, little bitch.
Ooh.
Should definitely come play Yu-Gi-Oh again. I guess all the Melbourne fellas, we've travelled with, kind of, I guess, play tested with, discussed theories with. Team Doglong, yeah, the old gang. T-Raw, David, yeah.
Make sure to use the butterbean discount.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Peace out. Beautiful trophy. Dual Link Dragon.